Welcome everyone back to SkateProud Chat. Today we're going to be chatting with Lorenzo Magri, a figure skating coach from Italy, and I'm so excited because he is also a very good friend, and I'm sure he can bring us a lot of perspective on how figure skating is evolving, how important is his coaching and work ethic, and how he educate his students also not just on figure skating but also life values and how to respect everyone. So I'm just waiting for Lorenzo to be joining the live chat, and don't forget to request there like the questions. Go into the question button. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Welcome. Ciao, come stai?
Bene.
Bene
We-
vederte.
Yeah, we're gonna speak Italian, Spanish, English, or
I know. I've been actually practicing my Italiano ultimamente. Pero ya sabes, me lo invento. I invented, you know.
no problem, no problem. It's similar.
Thank you for joining today.
Thank
I
you.
know you had a crazy day, right?
Yeah, well, actually, we were we spent, I think, quarantine doing. I don't say nothing, but everything was slowing down. We were just in a way forced to be relaxed, and now it's like crazy. Everybody want to skate, and you need to do the program, and you want to be back on your jumps. So it's like crazy. I have a lot to do. I have many skaters, and we cannot be on the ice all together, of course. So there is a limit of skater session. So you have to stay a lot as a coach on the ice to see your students during the day, no? And that's
So you went from 2 full months lockdown like Spain. Italy was like really, really enforced and doing nothing at home. And now you're like went to the other side, like completely like full working the whole day. But how actually I'm like interested to hear how did you live this time, this quarantine time? Because I remember we were talking right for the World Championships. You all these Italian skaters, they were even already in Montreal, and you were like, this is crazy. Well, like I don't think worlds should happen because it's very dangerous. Italy is already very bad. And I did not feel the same because I was thinking here in Canada everything is very good and nobody had the perspective. And then 2 days after the World Organization, Health Organization announced the pandemic, and then it was canceled. And it's kind of like interesting that you were already so prepared for that.
well, it was a strange moment for us because when we wanted to leave, uh, provisionally it would have been like few days before the starting of Junior Worlds, but then the situation in Italy really collapsed, and we had so many cases. Lombardia was already a red zone, and it was in our feeling like being a coach together with my team, it was really difficult to think maybe in few days we could be stuck in some airport, and maybe Italians will be not allowed to arrive to Tallinn. And in Italy we already had the limit of the 14 days of quarantine, so we didn't want to go traveling and staying at the hotel watching the TV while the other are competing with Junior Worlds, no. So we decided to leave before. That was a bit complicated because the situation went really bad at home. And everybody was coming from all around the world without this perspective, maybe Chinese. I mean, people from Asia, they came with the mask, they were really serious. And everybody, I mean, the rest of the world was just coming like thinking, oh, it's going to be like something happening somewhere in the world. But then, let's say some parents of mine, because I live in Südtirol, which is like northern part, but my family is from the center, and there were many cases, and people start to die, and it was really hard to be around, not from my family directly, but I know people that were really sick, and I try to go around and to say like, oh, people, what are we gonna do? We're gonna finish Junior Wars in this strange, dangerous situation. Everybody sitting together in the arena while the rest of the world is spreading out with the coronavirus, or we're gonna be like stuck it here and maybe not going to Montreal. What we're gonna do? And even if the competition was not finished, I was already like thinking what I'm gonna do with my skaters. Also, like we had some possibility to go in the top 10 or the top 5 with some of my skaters. So we were like, okay, we want to be participant, but we want also to have our family back home
Of
safe.
course, yeah.
So
It
it
was
was
a
hard.
difficult thought process, probably.
I have to say it was hard, and I realized in this moment, like, I don't want to speak bad about ISU organization and everything, but they really care about the product. But I was with under 18 people, I mean, students, little, and I was doing all the time, like, the coach, the father, the mother, and everything, and it was a bit stressing out, I have to say. But then finally we went back home. It took like 3 days to arrive at home, completely mask and gloves and everything.
Wow.
And then I start my quarantine here in my house. And that was my first time in so many years stopping without having a luggage ready for the next competition. And I start to think a lot about the way I was working before and the way I want to be going next step. And for me, and I think also for my skaters, we were reading a lot, watching a lot of movie, asking ourselves a lot of things, working on basics. We had time for the first time to analyze a bit better our track, the way it was done, and I think we realized where we want to go for next Olympic and the next one too, because that will be Italy. So we set up our goal, and I think we are much better than before in a way, more conscious.
Yeah, I think it's been a very interesting period for everybody to really think and have these clear ideas where you are and where you want to get to. And for sure, I feel you as a coach, you had a big role probably with your skaters and to keep them on track and to also think about how you're gonna focus on skating and what are the goals in the future and probably a strategic way of coaching as well, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been difficult. I think for everybody this period, and it's been a challenge basically. But now everything is back to normal. There, you're like, as you say, you were coaching today since 6 a.m. or something,
Yeah.
and you just came back at 5 p.m. So you guys are like fully training. What are the measurements? Are you all wearing the mask, or just the coaches, or do you have a limited amount of skaters on the ice?
Yeah, we have a limit of 18 skaters for each session, including the coaches with the skates.
Yeah,
There is like a sort of totem on the entrance where you have we got measurement of fever, temperature, and if you're fine, it says yes, you can go. Uh, After we need to respect the social distances. There are no dressing room open, so we have some chairs at the entrance where you can leave your stuff around, and you have to change yourself there. After each session, there is a cleaning person, so like with mask and everything. So
yeah,
he cleans everything for the next people coming for the next session. So it took time to open. Like we could have opened, let's say, a couple of weeks before what we did, but these 2 weeks it was really good to clean really well the arena and to set up all the what do you say, percourse,
measurements. Yeah,
yeah, measurement and the way to go in and out, because we need the different entrances and exit positions. So it
yeah,
was important to do like a sort of planification, to have an idea how to use it. And yeah, we work every session. We have some session with some kind of skaters and younger ones. So for the youngers, let's say if they're really, really little, we have a maximum of 20. And if they are bigger, we have a maximum of 18 or 16. It's also depending because, you can breathe on the same track of the next one. So even if the arena is big, it's a bit complicated if they're all together doing like a class
yeah,
group.
yeah.
So we don't do any of ice together. they can only go for warm-up period, but we don't do ballet in the room, let's say. They do ballet in Bolzano, they do ballet
Outside, yeah, yeah,
or in a big classroom, like, but we don't have that at Arena. We have
yeah.
in another place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
it's
guess it's
working.
kind of hard, especially to plan, not knowing how the next season is going to look, which is the same thing for everybody, that they are like not knowing when it's going to start or what are you getting ready for, basically. But I mean, the best thing you can do is train and be ready for
Yeah.
whatever comes.
Well, I mean, I have some skaters that are preparing the Junior Grand Prix series. We don't know yet, but okay, ISU told us like it's gonna be anyway 6 rounds, 6 events. Uh, Still, we don't have a real confirmation, but we want to try to be in the last in order to hope to go there.
Exactly.
And I have some other skaters going to Senior Grand Prix, and this is maybe more possible. But anyway, it's gonna be like chance.
And it's also the Olympic qualification year, and you have your very first student with possibilities to qualify, and so it's an important year for you as a coach as well, and in your career, let's say. So yeah, going to your skating career and how you got to where you are now as a coach, I think everybody would like to hear where you're coming from. So I know you used to be a roller skater, and how, resuming it a little bit, how you ended up going into ice figure skating, and how was all this story and transition?
Well, it's a story. It's like that. I started to play piano when I was really little. My grandfather was a singer and player, and he was giving to me like as a gift a piano, and I started to play, but I couldn't stay only sitting. The funny thing was like I was playing and I was moving, and this was not really good. But when the music started, I was all the time dancing in a way. But my father was like, really football people and basketball people. My brother and my sister, volleyball. And it was hard to say, like, I want to dance. Nobody was really like saying, okay, my mom said, yeah, we're going to do, but don't say to your father. Then finally, there was a friend of mine, like she was doing ice skating at that time, but I come from Bologna, which is middle of Italy. And we didn't have at the time a real ice rink. So I went to see the practice and I felt in love with that. But unfortunately, it was only 2, 3 months in the winter. So I just started as a tryout, but it was just already the end.
So you
So
did try ice skating when you were little.
yeah, I
That's the
tried.
first
I
thing you
just tried. And that was my first love. But then I had to switch and I had to go to roller skating because in my city there was a lot of roller skaters and
yeah.
few ice skaters skating only like as a hobby. So I started, and then my coach was a roller skater, actually a famous coach at the time, and he wanted to continue also with ice. So I started roller skating, and during some period in the year, we were traveling a bit, going to Milano, going to Verona, where some ice rink were open. But actually, my career started, and then I did roller skating, and I started to do single and after pairs. So I competed as a roller skater, and at the same time my love came back because then finally I was old enough to say I want to go ice, I want to try ice. And when I started, finally I was already going to big events in roller, and then I moved to ice. And when I moved to ice, I was 18, and then I had a car accident. So I started with Franca Bianconi she was just knowing me the few months, and I was really going good. I was so happy. So finally, I will definitely move on ice. But then I had a car accident. I broke both legs, and I had like a frontal with the car coming back from training. Can you imagine? And that made me like really connected to ice because actually I was hoping so much to finally go on the ice with the right age. I was also studying at university, but then I had to stay on the bed. I just woke up after the accident and I was both leg broken in the bones. And it took 1 year to come back. But the only
Wow.
thing I said to the doctor, it was like, I don't care about walking. I want to skate. And that made me like so connected, and at this time I was just meeting Franca as a coach, but directly she said to me, even if you cannot skate as a competitor, I would like so much you start working with me. And then it happened. It just happened, and I start coaching with Franca. At
Okay.
this time, I was never thinking in my life I would have been a coach. I was studying architecture, so
Yeah.
I finished my studies, and I never thought I'm gonna be a coach. I just paid, I was working with her, but I paid my studies with
Yeah.
and then she was all the time saying, "No, you're gonna be a coach. You're gonna be a coach." And now I don't want to be a coach. Now you're gonna... But then life is life. I finish university. I start to go in a studio. I start to work for Bulgari Jewels. I was doing interior designer,
Yeah.
6 months, and I was missing eyes like crazy.
Wow.
I was like without breathing, and then I
I
decided, okay,
think that's the feeling we all have always skating. Somehow is like we are addicted.
yeah,
And I think this is the longest period most of us have been away from an ice rink, and it feels so weird. Whether you're like still competing or not, or just even coaching, like you're so used to be so many hours on the ice with your skates on, and it's like randomly 2 months, almost 3 months, nothing. It's so crazy what has happened in the world. But yeah, going and talking about your story. Um, well, first of all, I wanted to say thank you for being part of SkateProud and wanted to have this chat today because where we want to get as well is to know a little bit more about your personal life and how you as a young skater had to live through different periods of your life, probably struggles, and how you became the person you are today and accept yourself as well. And I feel you were telling me a little bit before, and it's sort of connected with that car accident you had. So for me, for us, it's interesting to know how was that transition also, and how was your accepting process when you were growing up, and what was the moment you were feeling comfortable to talk with your family or open to your inner circle around you and be true yourself around the people who love you, basically.
yeah. I think first of all, I come from another period. I mean, I'm older than you now.
Yeah.
I'm I'm turning 42, so it was a moment, and I born in the middle of Italy. Well, not really a bad place to be gay or heterosexual. I mean, we are all free to live our life. We are not so free to express, and we're not so free to say to the people, honestly, I'm gay, because you are unfortunately still afraid to lose some job, still afraid to be. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Javi?
Hi.
Javi?
Now, do you hear me? Hello, the
Yeah, I do.
connection. Yeah. No,
Hello?
it might have been me. I don't know. Do you hear me
Ah,
now?
okay, okay. No, because mine looks like working.
Yeah, no.
So
So let's going back to the where you were saying about. Are we connected now?
Move a
Do
little
you
bit.
hear me?
Yes? I
Do you
try
hear
to
me now?
move in another place. Yeah.
I don't know if it's you or if it's me, but okay, now it's working. So
Yeah.
what we were talking about it's the fact that Italy, um, you were saying you well, first of all, you as you said, time difference back then maybe what 20 years ago compared
Yeah.
to nowadays as for a younger 18-year-old right now it's completely different. But also as you were saying in Italy you you were feeling that you were able to be true yourself but at the same time you were not comfortable to express or talk much about it.
Yeah, like I think at my period it was difficult to express completely myself. I was born in a family where it was important to have girlfriend, degree, and a normal work. So I don't say that I was forced to love, but I had many girls. I started completely thinking that my life is like that. I had girlfriends until let's say 25, 26 years old. But I don't know, like I was all the time trying to not to say to the people I was skating, I was dancing. It was difficult for me during high school to say I go do my sport. I was all the time saying to some people like I'm going running instead of skating. For my father, it was really difficult to accept that I want to skate with the music. It was all the time saying, why you don't go football? I don't
So
understand.
it's kind of interesting that you say your father was a musician. So being an artist, how even it was hard for him to think that his son was choosing an artistic sport.
Yeah. But also Italy is, I think, like Spain is a bit like macho.
I
You
mean,
know,
soccer football is very big,
yeah,
and I mean it has changed a lot, but of course this is a lot of conservative positions or thoughts, and kind of like it's kind of like shocking that as you were saying when you were like trying to lie or hide that you were going to skating and it's true it turns out to be sometimes that you feel like you cannot share because you feel some people will judge you or even will make your life harder maybe at school because you're doing such a different and special sport and it's not the standard.
sometimes it's better when you are younger, and I see also in my skaters, not only because they are gay or heterosexual, because sometimes it's just difficult to say to the people, I'm a figure skater. It looks like you are going on the middle of the ice with some sparkling stuff and some paillettes, let's say, some lights on, and with some makeup. But it's not like that. Skating, it's not. It doesn't refer to me to be gay or hetero. It's just a sport itself. The
It's an
way,
amazing sport that it's also very difficult, so
yeah.
athletic, artistic. It's people does not have knowledge, and I think it takes figure skater. But yeah,
Of course. But for me, it's a sport where you fall a lot. Like you give a lot of passion, you give a lot of dedication. You do that every day. You do many hours. You need to have a strong character. It's not about like having, Sometimes I even feel like some of our football players playing, changing girls every 2 weeks and having probably new car and everything. They might be like at the end more feminine, more less serious in a way. I don't speak bad about that. Every kind of sport is important, but what happened on the back of our sport, and even in roller skating, which is even less famous, but we have so many champions, so
yeah.
many
Spain and
good,
Italy are very big in
great.
roller skating.
great athletes, and unfortunately they don't even have the chance we have in ice skating to express themselves, but still they are champion. And we do so much work, and sometimes it's difficult because it's just like the society doesn't accept you because you do that, and this I don't like. And the reason, one of the reason, first of all, I say thank you for inviting me here, and second, I think it's a great opportunity for the people, because also I want to be part of it, and I'm here. It's just because I want to say to the new people, like, don't be afraid to express yourself. Choose your sport because you love your sport. Your sexuality is not an option. It will come out if it has to come out, because it's passion. You cannot say no. Passion. Like, I couldn't be without skating, and I'm still there. So it's like
That is
something
so
that, like
important.
a fire.
As you said, it's very important that you encourage to the skaters to really not put barriers to be themselves even when they skate, not because of what people is going to think, because it doesn't matter, as we were talking, it doesn't matter your sexuality or orientation or whatever. In the end, I feel is the stereotype that is being built, and that we need to try to break it, and it helps us as people to be our true selves, whether the way you are, and also to skate and express on the ice.
Completely.
But yeah, so talking about your story, and I want to get to the part where you were saying what changed your life. That car accident, it had a big impact, and also how did it translate into opening up and maybe accepting yourself or with your family or friends.
Yeah. Well, actually the car accident happened when I wanted to express myself as a skater on the ice, and then it was like I couldn't do what I wanted. So I think I transferred completely my willing into the skaters I now coach. So it happens also to a lot of people now. Like, you didn't have the chance for doing something, and now I feel my chance is to give a chance to somebody else. And I feel I really enjoy now my job, because I see them growing, not only as skaters, as athletes, as person. So the individuality, the character, the charisma, the process of making somebody shining because of the inner shine, not because I want to put something it's not there. I just want to help the people or my skaters to shine the way they are. Not I never wanted to say to my skater, like, Daniel, you're gonna be the next Patrick Chan. Gabriele, you're gonna be the next Carol, whatever famous skater. I would like them to be shining because they are what they are. And this is like the process. It's also, it happened to me, like, I realized I started to be a better coach when I started to accept completely my reality, my sexuality, my life. Like, if you are a not be the best person, and that's like it starts to be like a sort of the way you coach is the way you live. So if my life is good, if I love my life, I can be a good coach. So the process is, into these 20 years I'm coaching, I became, I don't say better coach, but I'm happy because I put all my life on what I do, and
I
I think
think,
this is the difference.
yeah, that's a very important message. I really like what you said about you want your skaters to really be who they are and offer and shine really what they can. And it's important as well for you how you as a coach uh, accepting yourself, your life, living truly yourself, being able to express. It's very it's connected. We as persons, we need to really be our true selves to when we come to the work, to coaching or choreograph or whatever, to also give the best of ourselves. And I feel you as a coach, this is what I want to get to as well. You have such an important role of educating and guiding your skaters into becoming not just good figure skaters and competitor, but also growing as people, as their personalities, being respectful to others, and taking out of them the best of they can give. And I wanted to hear a little more. What's your work ethic towards the coaching, and what you've learned from your life, from yourself, how it translates into the ice?
Well, first of all, a coach is a model of life. Uh, if you want them to be present, you need to be present. If you want them to do something, you need to show them that you are able to do something. I'm not speaking about like I want to teach a quad, I need to do a quad, but precision, being like, being ethic, respect the other coaches, try to keep calm, to express yourself, to be to give rules and to respect these rules and to remember these rules, not to change with somebody and not with the other. Show them how much deep I give my all my energy to this job. For example, I'm still doing university because I never studied science sport, and I start back to study because not only because I'm interested, because I love to study. This is, of course, because this sport is so difficult. If you don't study, I think it's gonna be hard to say something. But I'm doing that because I want them to see that I'm never stopping. I want to be the model. Like my skaters are watching to me to say, okay, my coach doesn't feel like to be the best. No, no way. I just feel I wanna see myself tomorrow better than today. And this is what I ask to them, to challenge, not to feel like, okay, I just got my medal last junior worlds, whatever it is. Like, you know how many people are better than you tomorrow? If you get a medal, the day after there's somebody trying to win against you. So if you want to be better, you need to do that every day, every single day. And there is not the moment you can just say, okay, I'm sitting down and I'm waiting you to work. So I all the time think that the responsibility is important because you need to sit down, ask yourself which kind of coach I want to be, which kind of person I can represent. And then you can go on the ice, and if you did a good analysis of yourself, then you're gonna have good skaters. If you are just hiding yourself, and if you just give rules that you don't respect and you don't believe, then it's not gonna working.
The connection breaks, and yeah, that's true. You have to be a role model as a
Yeah.
coach, and
And
also
it's
going to.
sorry, yeah, it's not easy.
Oh
I
no,
do
I guess, I
mistakes.
guess.
I still do a lot of mistakes, and I say sorry to my skaters sometimes because there is not perfection. This is not what I want to teach. I cannot teach with like a magic wand, and I can say no, you don't gonna fall anymore. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think it is true. I think once we had a chat long time ago, and you were saying, I want to be honest to my skater too, to my skaters, and they have to understand that beside a coach, I'm also a person, and I have feelings, and when I come to the rink, maybe they have to know that I didn't have the best day, or that, and that's what it makes that connection. I feel when as a skater they need this extra support, and they're struggling, maybe don't have the best day, whether it is because something training is not working, maybe because they are suffering with something in life, maybe because whatever is going on at school, sexuality, many things that they have to live through. You also have your own things in life, and I feel that this support is very important, and this is what a coach can help with, to help the skaters, but also to be honest and open about yourself.
yes, of course. But there is also a big difference, I think, into the approach of let's say we are probably Latin, we are Europeans, we have a different culture.
Yeah,
I work with some other, let's say, Russian, Japanese, or Asians, whatever, and we have really a different way to live, and probably some other. To Can you hear me? Yeah, they are able to leave part
yes,
of life out, and for me, and I see like also for European culture, it's like we need to bring everything there. And I also believe in that because, being a skater, a top skater, means also to go in the program at the Olympic game and to express yourself deeply, to put everything in the program. So I try to teach them to accept everything, and to, if you want to represent a Carmen or a Bolero, whatever music is, you need to live this music first. You need to be not only skating, you need to be an artist. And being an artist is a question of understanding. You cannot put like love in a fake way. You need to, if you want to express love, you need to say yourself which kind of love I want to express. And this is also connected. I still love to do some choreography, even if I'm not the best, and I also work a lot with good choreographer. But it's also like what something I ask when I do that with my skaters, like, okay, but we want to express something that you really live, you really know, and the acceptation and the way you live everything is gonna be coming out, because we have judges, but we don't do that only for judges. We do that for ourselves.
exactly. Yeah, and that's also part of as a skater when we are growing and in the last years of our careers, we are choosing our songs. We are putting more what we really like, and this is also translates into real life. That means we are more comfortable with ourselves, and that helps. I think that's why we are trying to work into this platform to everybody to be their true selves, no matter where you come from, what you like, where your race, your sexuality. I feel this is very important because it will give a big range of possibilities, and this is also important when we come to skating. We need to appreciate everyone for what they are and how they skate, how they express themselves, not just have one stereotype, one way to do it. Everybody's different, and we need to accept and appreciate every single one. And going into this, I wanted to hear what's your perspective when it comes. I don't know if you've ever had a situation, whether it is with the skaters that you coach or back in the day when you were a skater. But I mean, we know there's still discrimination in the ice and coming from outside, or maybe skaters that you coach that they've been suffering some bullying at school because they are skaters, because maybe they are gay or maybe they are not, but they still suffer because they're choosing figure skating. And how, whether it is racism, discrimination to the LGBTQ plus community, how, if you have any example, or how do you deal this as a coach? How were you able to help skaters, or you don't need to put a name, but how do you deal with this, and what's your perspective?
Hmm. Well, in our region, it's a bit complicated because it's half German, half Italian, and it's still like not. Bolzano is not a big city, and Enya is like a super little town, like 5,000 people. Some of my skaters are from around the world, some other are Italian, and it happened. Some okay people, when I moved, when I started there, and I had a bunch of skaters, and they were kind of little, let's say, not famous, whatever. Um, they were like, the next session is okay, and you see like a group of people, like they were just saying like, well, let's see just these gay people skating, no? And then I think what I say to my skater, it was just, you know what, like go for your way, don't hear, don't focus, because people that speak so bad about other without knowing, it's just ignorance.
They're
I
just
don't.
ignorant and maybe even jealous because they are like
Yeah,
down,
But you know what happened?
they are like appreciating something they it's quite amazing to see
Yeah.
people.
What happened after? This group of skaters became, not all of them, but most of them, they went to national team. They start to go around the world. They start to get medals. And now they are in Italy and in our region every week on the newspaper and in some TV show. Now, these same people and the coach of hockey is coming to me to say, you know what, like your skaters are improving every year. Can you just help us with skating into hockey? So I think if you go straight in your life and you have a real idea uh, and you are able to show to the people how much the value and the passion and the love and the work, then everybody will change point of view. But
Yeah,
it's not with the war. It's not like going against, like facing and speaking bad. It's more with the facts.
yeah.
And it's
I
also
think what
something that
you're
I would like to say to the gay war sometimes, because we can be the first to be treated bad if we treat the others. We have also to be respectful each other and to show that it's only about love, like and it's not about bad things. I have a relationship, I have a good relationship, I can live the same life as the other because it's the same problem, jealousy. We don't wash the the house, the next day you find coffee close to the bathroom. It's the same problem, but we have to
yeah,
show that our life is normal, it's not something strange.
yeah. I think in regards of what will you translate that into your skaters that they may struggle, this what you were telling, what do you tell them to focus, to not listening to whether people is judging and maybe bullying, or to try to stay on the path, to focus on training, because in the end it is your own life and you have the power to really get yourself where you want to get. And as you were saying, back in those years, maybe there was this, I don't know, hockey players or other people around saying like, oh my God, haha, these skaters are doing figure skating, oh, these guys, and oh my God, maybe they're gay, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Nowadays, doesn't matter if they're gay or not, because you might have all kinds. What they are top figure skaters from Italy or other countries that you coach, and they are in the newspapers. And I feel this is an important message. Unfortunately, we don't have the power to change what the people do or say around us, but we have the power to be helping one another, to support in our community, or as your job as a coach with your skaters, to make sure they are motivated, focused, they keep up with the love of their sport. And that's what is gonna help all of us to get through the difficult moments. My story, as I said it before, for me, figure skating was my safe space. I did suffer bullying at high school when I was in a different part of Madrid, on the north. And when I moved to the sports center, when I was every day with my other skaters mates, my coaches, basically I was fully focused and I was surrounded by other top athletes. When I was really into this life, that's when I fully felt released. And I feel none of those bad things ended up affecting where I wanted to get to, because the love for skating was bigger than all these bad things that happened. So I think it's an important message and important role you have as a coach, to make sure that you are not just coaching them on the ice, but you're also a big support of the ice, and that they feel your family in the end. You spend so much time with them, so that you are there for them. That's the most important job you have as well.
Correct. But I don't know, like probably sometimes it's the job that choose you. I don't know. it happened and it took time. Now I love it because I grow up with them. And all the time I think they're not only them to learn, but I'm learning from them. I become
Yeah.
better in my character. I become wiser. I can even say now I can choose the people we work with, um, because experience is also good. And my shoulders are big because I had so many enemies and I still have some jealousy and everything. So I feel like now I'm old enough to say I'm not afraid anymore. But I can understand they are afraid. When you are little, you can be afraid about the judgment of the people. It's normal. It's a way to learn. But this is also making us becoming older, becoming matures. Like you go to competition and most of us, we are afraid about the judgment of the judges, but they are person. How much time you spend to realize they are only person? Probably 20 years, I don't know. Even you, like as a skater, you can tell me, no, I remember I even came to competition with you. I remember it. Sometimes you can be afraid. It's normal because, oh, what they will think about me not being like so super in shape or whatever it is. And then you realize they're only person, sit in them and try to do their job. But it takes
It's true.
time, no? It takes time. The same as person that judge you because you are whatever, lesbian, hetero, trans, whatever. And then you realize the ghost is also inside you.
It's true. I feel something that I think Eric Radford mentioned. Um, mhm. You hear?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you. Yes. So I think.
Sorry.
So I think, resuming what I was saying, something that Eric Radford mentioned is that those struggles and those difficult parts help him, in a way, to be more resilient and stronger, and to really, because we're under such a pressure also with the way skating is and judging and all that, because it's very individual work, that that we become stronger out of all this. With a cost, I mean, I think things should change to not suffer bullying and all that. But in the meantime, what we can do is help each other and support each other. And I feel how things can change is uh, being more supportive as a community, and also having the support from the institutions is something very important to know that they are there. They're against discrimination, racism. They're supporting the LGBTQ plus community because we are a big part of the sport as well. And so, yeah, lastly, I would like to hear what's your perspective in general, how skating must have changed, which has changed a lot back in the day to today, not having skaters talking openly about it. Now we as skaters, we are pushing forward, coaches and many others, choreographers, and important voices in the skating world, and how things can improve more.
Well, if you speak about judgment or about
The full
like
perspective, how everything can get better and how it has improved already as well. We have to appreciate how we got here and how
yeah.
much we can improve as well.
Well, I think some of the, let's say, we call that new system, and there were a lot of changes, you know, after Salt Lake City, and there was a new era of skating, and I think now we have much better programs in a way. There is more deeper judgment, less probably uh, selling votes or notes or marks, whatever. But we are still now in a moment like we have some problem in judgment because of component side mostly, and I think I'm not so satisfied about the way we still are struggling with the component side because there's still too much following the technical side. Let's say the quotes are changing for girls and boys, the judgment. uh, I don't understand why they still teach us like the components are not connected with the value of the jumps, because at the end, if you watch the competition, then if you skated good with the quads, then you have a 9. If you don't skate with the quads, you have just a 7. And I still have the feeling like, I don't want to say name, but I say it, like Jason Brown. Why is not one of the best? He's one of the best, but just because he doesn't try quad. Or Jeremy Abbott at his time. So some of the skaters that they were like full package, and I don't know, they had to do quads, but this is not the reason. You should play your card. You should be able to say, yes, I'm gonna use my difficulties, the same in ice dance. No, I don't go use my difficulties, and I go in transition and I go in skating. But still we have some problems, and I hope that the culture of judgment it's getting better and better, because also we have a lot of new judges coming up, new people that like you, that skated at your time, also with the new system. And I believe the new generation can be much better judging, not because I don't believe in the whole people. I believe a lot, they have a lot of experience, but they skated in a new era. They get this experience. So I'm a lot into the involvement of the skater that are leaving the ice as competitive, and I would like a lot of them to become new judges, new specialists. I'm specialist
You're
since so many
also a
years.
judge, yeah. You have
Yes,
like not just the coaching side, but
of
you have the
course.
perspective of a judge, yeah.
But I all the time invest my time to convince my skater when they decide to leave. No, you have to become a judge. You have to become a choreographer. It's not only about career when you skate. It's also about the second part of your life. I say all the time to my skater when they decide to stop, I don't want you to leave your boots out, on the wall. I want you to become, even if you become the mom of a new skater or just a fan that watch all the time figure skating, I will be happy, because it's the best. The worst way to be coaching is when you feel like a skater decide to stop and decide not to skate anymore. This is like the bad situation, the worst one.
Yeah, I feel it's very, as you say, it's very important that we still connected to skating somehow after competition, because all we live through, we can help other future generations as well
Of
and help
course.
skating to improve.
And also, if I can say the rest of the picture, of course, what happened lately, unfortunately, to some of the skater also you interview in the last period, Cizeron and other skater, like this bad behavior from some of the Russian. But I'm not saying Russian in general. I believe there are such beautiful and great friends from Russia. So it's not a question of the flag. It's a question about like some of the people that are like bullying and say bad about the other are probably just afraid about themselves. I cannot say anything more of that, because how can you punish somebody else because they are moving in the way you don't like? This has to be going out. This also, like, we still don't have so many, let's say, I don't like to say black people, but like Mae or the other, like we should have more and more of the new people.
Yeah,
I also at the time believe like there are a lot of cultures that are not included in skating, even India or some other, that I see that as a perspective of growing, because they
yeah.
can give a lot to. How can we give that kind of culture we don't have? We should go for a lot of integration. We can be much better, not less better.
We have to be more diverse. We have to
Yeah,
be respectful. That it has to be a lot of measurements taken from our big federation or ISU, and to make sure that everyone is being supported and respected, and that unfortunately there is still cases as we were talking, but that has to stop, because those words coming from important people from skating or that has achieved big goals has a big and a bad impact on other younger skaters that they're already suffering or struggling through different periods of their lives, and getting that comment, it hurts and it doesn't help to be their true selves, or and even just because they're choosing figure skating and they already have been bullying at school or anything. And I feel that's why it's very important that at our skating community we're all helping one another and respecting. Basically, that's all we need. And I think skating, even though I feel we are such a great family, we still have a long way to go, you know, to improve. And thanks
Mm.
to voices like yours, your story, I think it's very important, this platform, and that we feel united. So yeah, I wanted to say thank you, Lorenzo, for being here today. It was a pleasure to hearing you. And if you want to say anything to the people, or sending
Yes.
like an important message for all the skaters that may be watching, go ahead.
Well, for me, I say like thank you to you to invite for inviting me, and I feel like I would be happy if like there are there are young people watching and afraid of something that are watching us as um, a sort of model, like not to be afraid about you. Because what I can say, like passion is passion. You cannot hide anything. It will be coming out sometime at your time. You need to take your time for that, but don't be afraid about being yourself. Never and ever and ever. And trust, because you don't know when you step the first time on the ice. You feel this energy, and I think it will be staying in you all life. That's
That
what I
is
want to say.
that is very important message. Well, thank you so much. I hope to see you soon. I don't know when, but
I hope soon some
yeah, I hope I can.
competition.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, it was very nice. Thank you. Grazie mille,
Thank you, Javi. You are
amigo.
doing a great you are doing a great job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Not only proud
We gotta
kid.
be proud. Grazie mille.
Okay.
Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.
Ciao.
Ciao.